What's up, Make Pop Music? It's Austin here from Make Pop Music and Austin Hall Audio and Visual, and we are back with another tutorial this week. And this week I wanted to do something a little bit special. It's something that you guys have requested, and that is how to get the perfect pop guitar tone using free plugins. So, you know, we've made a pop guitar tone that used Guitar Rig in the past, and you've seen us use stuff like THU. And while those are great and super worth the money, they do cost money, or they do require you to be part of a subscription program. So today I figured we would go ahead and make a really nice clean pop guitar tone with a totally free plugin. We're going to be using the light version of Amplitube. Amplitube does have a paid tier, however, we're just going to be using the free demo that you can always use. It's got a couple amps, so we'll kind of cycle through, show you everything that it's got, and then I'll show you how I like to build my perfect pop guitar tone within that plugin. For this video, we're going to be focusing on a guitar tone similar to something like you'd hear in like a Dua Lipa song, or a Shawn Mendes song, or a James Bay song, so that really clean, twangy pluck sound that shines really nicely through a mix. However, it's not overly aggressive and it's not distorted. It's just clean in your ears and just right up front. Before we actually hop into the DAW and I show you exactly how I process this, I did want to let you know just a little bit about what guitar I'm using, kind of how to track guitar, and some of the different outcomes you can expect. If you're tracking electric guitar, the guitar that you use, the preamps that you use, and how you play it is really going to matter in the overall tone. So for this video, we're going to be using this guitar. It is a brand new Fender Strat. It's American. I believe it's their custom series. It's just got 3 single coil pickups right here, and we are going to be playing it on the neck pickup. And neck pickups on Strats are typically really round. However, they're still going to give us that nice little twang and pluck that you're going to hear in pop guitars a lot of the time. Using something like a Les Paul or something that's got a humbucker might give you a really cool tone. However, they're generally a little bit darker, a little bit kind of crunchier overall, and in my opinion, they're a little bit harder to get to shine through a mix. So if you have something that's got a single coil, definitely gravitate towards that for these kind of plucky guitar tones. As far as routing in, we are going straight into the Audient ASP800. We're going into their DI channel, and no other preamps are being used. So it's basically just clean DI. If you have anything that's got a DI channel or has like an instrument channel that can take guitar, you'll probably be fine. Anything from a Scarlett to an Apollo to an ASP is going to work totally fine. As far as playing, we are playing both of these licks that you're going to hear in this video finger style, and that's also another really important thing that I think is happening a lot of the time with pop guitar, is there is a lot more finger playing rather than pick playing, because it's just going to give you that kind of softer, rounder, just more hands-on feel that you're going to get with a pop guitar, rather than just playing something that feels a little bit aggressive and a little bit overly plucky and twangy. So if you can, work on your finger picking skills, because they are going to come in crucial. But without further ado, let's actually hop into the DAW and go ahead and talk about how I process this guitar, what it sounded like coming in, and what the final result sounded like. All right, now we're in the DAW. Let's actually go ahead and take a look and a listen to what it sounded like coming straight in. So this is a Fender straight in through the ASP800. And then no processing other than that. Just for the sake of actually building this tone, we're going to build it as just one mono guitar. However, with guitar tones like this, it really does help if you actually have 2 different guitar takes and you split them out and pan them. That way you can get a wide effect, and we'll kind of show you that at the end after we've built kind of the basis of the tone. So let's go ahead and listen to what this guitar sounded like DI. So it's okay. It's not too bad. And then let's hear what this one sounded like. And again, that's my Fender neck pickup. And then actually, these strings are pretty old on this, so new strings is not even one of those things that I personally feel like is super necessary on every song. Some people change their strings like literally every couple days. I think I've been rocking with those for like 2 months now. Let's go ahead and open up Amplitube. So once you open this up, this is going to be the default setting. It's actually a pretty cool setting straight off of default, but we're going to go ahead and modify a couple things. So what we're going to really start with is, let's go ahead and actually start with this guitar tone. And the first thing I want to do is take off this reverb, because I definitely don't want any of that. And then the first thing that we're going to want to do is pick our pre-model. So you can kind of scroll through. You'll see a lot of the stuff that is grayed out or locked. That's in the full version, but you still have access to a few things kind of here and there. And it's a lot easier if you just kind of scroll through like this. So we're actually going to end up going with American Tube Clean number 2. Turn that spring reverb back off. I'm also going to go ahead and set a noise gate. So that noise gate's just going to get rid of some of that hiss and hum in the background. Now let's actually go to the tube EQ section, and again you can select, we're going to go with tube EQ 1. So we're going to come right around here, and then we're just going to mess with some of these EQs right here. So for the bass, let's go ahead and take that first. We'll leave it kind of right here. Leave this right about here. Bring the treble down just a little bit, it's a little pokey. Take that presence up to get a little bit of shine. Give it some more volume. Now, I'm feeling pretty good about that. The last thing I want to do is I think I want to swap this out, so let's go ahead and cycle through these. I think I'm going to go with solid state just to kind of give us a cleaner tone. If we want to add any more grit, we always can later, but this is just to get a nice clean poppy tone. So we've got American Clean 2, American Clean 1, solid state, and then here's the settings that we have. I basically have the spring reverb turned off. Now I'm actually going to go back. There is one thing that I want to put in here. So we're going to go to the pedal board section, and I always like putting a compressor on stuff like this just to make sure that we're going to get a little bit of extra kind of fatness. So the compressor in here is really nice because you don't have to kind of concern yourself with attack and decay and release and ratios and all of that stuff. You literally just turn it till you feel like it feels good. That's feeling good to me. It's just giving us a little bit of extra thickness on those plucks without making them super, super muddy. So now we've got that compressor coming before the amp. We've got this amp with this setting. Now let's go to the actual cab. We do have a couple different options here. We have the 4x10 open vintage, 1x12 open, 2x12 closed, 4x12 closed, and then the bass. So we'll cycle through these while we kind of listen. For this particular tone, I think I'm going to go with the closed just because it does give us a little bit of extra bite. But if you wanted something a little bit cleaner, you could easily go with the open. This is giving us that kind of scooped out, especially that you'll hear in like that Dua Lipa song. It's just going to give us that extra like scoopy tone. Now let's go to the actual speakers and let's take a listen. I'm feeling pretty good about the 16A. I feel like that's a nice little balance because to me, that's going to give it a little bit of extra bite, but it's a bit smoother than some of the others. Now let's go to the actual microphone selection. So this cab has 2 speakers. So we're going to have a mic on speaker 1 and a mic on speaker 2. Let's go ahead and start with speaker 1. I'm liking that 87 better on the first hole. Let's go to the second hole. I'm liking this 57 a little closer to the cone, but slightly off axis. So that's feeling pretty good to me there. For this, I didn't really use much of this when I was kind of making the tone before the video, but we'll go ahead and just leave the 87 room mics on, and then we can actually go to the important part, which is right here. So we're going to boost this right around here. We're going to give this like 2.5, 3 dB of gain. We're going to take this to right around there, and then we'll pull this room all the way down to like 30. Let's hear that matchup. That's feeling pretty good. However, we do have some EQ issues that you're not just going to fix in the actual amp. So we're going to go into the next section, which is your rack, and we're going to start some EQ stuff. All right, let's start with the low EQ. So for this low EQ, you've just basically got a triple band parametric. We're going to set the frequency right around probably 200. We'll set this Q right around 3. And then let's go ahead and let's pull this down by about 1.4. Now, the next thing, and I actually want to skip the mids right now and go straight to the highs because they're bothering me quite a bit, is there is a really pingy frequency. So I'm going to turn that Q up to 8, make that notch really small. We're going to take this frequency right around to 3K, and we're going to take quite a bit of this out, probably like 7 or 8 dB. That's sounding a little bit better. Now we just need to kind of tame those mids. So for the mids, I want to kind of take some stuff out of this 300. It's just a little boxy and kind of gross. And then we're going to take it down by like 5 dB. And let's actually set this Q decently wide. So that's pretty much all I'm going to do in actual Amplitube. The next thing that I'm going to do is do some EQing outside where we can get a little bit more nitty gritty. So I'm just going to use the stock one in Cubase. You can use the stock parametric EQ in whatever kind of DAW you're using. So we're still going to consider this free. The first thing that we're going to do is notch out this pretty kind of harsh frequency around what feels to be like 6K. All right, so let's actually scroll down until it starts hitting where we want. Let's do it actually right here, more in the 4.5 and not the 6K. This area bothers me a lot more than the 6K. The 6K kind of has some actual niceness that I don't want to get rid of, so we'll take this out right here. And then the next thing we're going to do is kind of scoop out some of these low mids right over here. All right, so that's sounding a lot better to me now. Just kind of smooths out some of that aggressive kind of nasality that you're going to hear a lot in the microphones. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a reverb. I'm just going to go ahead and pick a stock one from Cubase. So let's go ahead and use Revelation. Make it shorter. I don't want it that long. And I just want a little bit, and that's basically going to give me a little bit of extra kind of tail at the end. It just helps it gel into a mix when you don't want a super wet guitar. You don't want it super, super dry where it just feels a little awkward. And then that's pretty much all I'll do for guitar tone. So that's the exact tone that I have on these. And then as you can see, we've just got 2 extra parts right here, basically played twice and then spread out. And just listen to how much more appealing that sounds rather than... Then down here, we just have the little guitar hits. I just track those separately. And then over here, let's listen once we actually have the chords open up. And let's go ahead and hear it in the context of the mix. That's it, and that does it. That's really all that goes into making a really clean pop guitar tone. As you can see, these tones are pretty simple. It's really all about getting a good amp and cab combo. And then other than that, it's just about finding, if your guitar program has it, finding the right microphones and the right speakers to go within that. And then just a little bit of subtle EQing and reverb after the fact, just to make sure it's sitting really nice in your mix. So with these guitar tones, feel free to keep them clean and simple. Other than that, if you want to kind of start spicing them up, use things like chorus or modulation. You can add some delays, and that's where you're going to get some of your more kind of creative creative, you know, kind of signature tones that you might hear in something like the 1975 or something along those lines. If you like the sounds that you heard in this video, definitely head over to our website, makepopmusic.com. You can check out all of our sample packs, presets, courses, anything like that that you might want to use in your productions. Other than that, if you have any questions about the video, please let us know. We'll be back with another video soon. Let us know what you want to see. Other than that, everybody stay safe. Much love. Peace out.